You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Y&R fans. We will be publishing our full roster of weekly spoilers soon, but until then, I've got some exciting stuff for you for the week of February 26th through March 1st. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and as a reminder, next week contains the last 3 days of February sweeps. And I do have to say that so far it's been a sleepy sort of sweeps, but I've got some new spoilers for this coming week that have me slightly more excited that we might get a big bang for our buck as sweeps winds down. And we're back to business as usual. And by that, I mean actual business, way too much business. We have got almost no romance, just meetings, more meetings. And in case you missed it, another meeting. All right, let's jump into these spoilers for next week. But first, please click subscribe if you have not. So we've got Audra Charles showing up over to the Abbott mansion to smirk at Tucker's ex-wife and clearly stake her claim on him. If women peed on men like dogs peed on trees to mark their territory, that would be happening. After seeing Friday's episode, I wonder if Ashley really did sleep at the GCAC alone in a separate room, or if she somehow wound up in Tucker's arms and they just haven't showed it yet. Because on the Friday episode, Ashley is pretty cagey when she's talking to Traci about where she spent the night. She kind of trips into the Abbott mansion in the clothes she was wearing when she left. She's been gone overnight, and now she's got this whole different tone and attitude about Tucker. Traci is alarmed enough to tell Jack, get home so they can talk about their sister. So we've had Ashley having a mental break, hearing voices, wrecking her car, and then suddenly deciding Tucker is meant to be in her life again? Did she hit her head? Anyway, Audra is suspicious because Ashley told her recently Tucker belongs to her and that their whole dynamic has changed. And then Tucker's kind of being cagey too with Audra, so I think he might be hedging his bets, keeping Audra on the line while waiting to see what Ashley does and says next. So that's the context that's happening as Audra heads over to the Abbott mansion for a showdown of sorts. She comes in and gets toe to toe with Tucker's ex-wife, Ashley, and she clearly had some things to say. And the spoilers we have kind of start mid-conversation where Ashley asks Audra, "Are you threatening me?" And Audra tells her, "It's a friendly warning. I have much more experience at fighting dirty than you, and I enjoy it much more than I should." So yeah, Ashley and Audra are actually about to be fighting over Tucker. Okay, Nate's waiting for Audra. She could just go get a piece of that and just throw Tucker back to Ashley. But somehow he has gotten Audra snowed. And now this creep has two women fighting over him. Oh my goodness. I do love Trevor St. John though. All right. The second spoiler I have to tell you about, I honestly could care less about. I can't imagine any way that they play this out where it gets my attention or becomes interesting to me, but I'm going to share it with you in case you give a damn about this plot. It's about Jill Abbott, Mamie Johnson, Nate Hastings, and Chancellor Winters, and it's about business, business, business. So you guys saw, if you're current on episodes, that Billy suggested adding the Abbott name to the Chancellor Winters company name. He wants it to basically be ACW. Devon said no, but then Amanda showed up and said that's what Jill wants, and she seems to be making it happen. I feel like this was just kind of all a BS excuse just to have Michelle Morgan pop up for a moment in sweeps as Amanda, because let's face it, she's a fan favorite and a ratings grab, but she's there for a corporate name and logo change. I don't care about that. She needs to show up to fire Cheatin', Heather, and Daniel for Queen Lily. But no, we cannot have nice things apparently. Instead, this is what we get. Mamie and Nate chatting over a table. Mamie tells Nate, Jill Abbott has had a stranglehold on Chancellor Winters for far too long. It's time our family takes full control of our company, and I'm here to make sure that's what happens. Well, that sounds great, but let me just ask this about this mediocre dialogue. The phrase far too long, those three words. Chancellor merged with Hamilton Winters like 2 years ago. It was like March 2022, I think. So when you say far too long, it sounds like decades, not minutes, you know? I mean, those 2 years, that's a drop in the bucket. And I think Mamie is just being extra. If it would stop all of this and just stop this storyline, I would tell Devon, take back Hamilton Winters, take Mamie with you, leave Chancellor out of it. Just leave Chancellor to Jill. Lily can go to whichever one she wants, and it would just end this nonsense. There's too many meetings. There's too much business. There's not enough drama. There's definitely not enough romance on my soap opera, and not enough action. Josh Griffith, I feel like, is at a low, my personal opinion. All right, one last spoiler, and this one has me much more excited because it ties directly to one of the big storylines exploding in Sweeps. On Friday, we have Victor telling Michael Baldwin, get Claire out of the psych ward and back home with her Newman family so they can use her as bait to tempt Jordan out of hiding and crush her once and for all. Michael, of course, knew Cole and Victoria wouldn't like it, and he told his boss that, but Victor said, do it anyway. So then Michael met with Cole and Victoria on Friday to discuss it, and of course they were furious and adamantly opposed. While they were talking to Michael, Victor took the opportunity to drop in on Claire at the hospital, and he basically leveraged her into agreeing to this plan behind her mother and father's back. I mean, he was honest about some things, that Jordan's a threat and needs to be stopped. Agree. But other things he said to me were outright emotionally manipulative, like how he's looking forward to having another granddaughter in his life. Victor's playing the whole welcome to the family card, but I am withholding judgment until I see what his attitude is like after the Jordan threat is over. Will Victor still be warm and welcoming, or will he put her back in the persona non grata zone after he gets what he wants? We'll have to wait and see. At any rate, Victor's mind game works, and Claire agrees. And so she called Michael Baldwin to come see her at the hospital. And also on Friday, Michael had already told Victor it is no problem to get her out because the judge who sentenced her to the psych ward was very loose in his restrictions on her. So next week we have Claire chatting with Michael, and I feel firmly that we are going to have her out of that hospital and onto the ranch. So Claire tells Michael next week, it's time to be who my family needs me to be. That means helping catch Jordan any way I can. And Michael says, agreed, go. Meaning, I guess the door is open. And Claire tells him full speed ahead. So yeah, Claire knows it's a risk, but she's going to do it. So with Sweeps happening next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, February 26th through the 28th, and then they're over, I fully expect to see the big violent stuff with Jordan on the very last day of Sweeps on Wednesday. Monday, that's when Claire talks to Michael, so she should be out of the hospital then. Maybe Tuesday, Jordan finds out, and then Wednesday, Jordan comes to play and her end game is exposed, and there's all kinds of wreaking havoc all over. Also, I am really wondering if Ashley wound up in Tucker's bed, and we get that in a flashback just before she did that Friday walk of shame home. Tucker definitely would not tell Audra that, and Ashley would not admit it to Traci. But, you know, Ashley would probably rub it in Audra's face, so we'll just have to see what happens in their scenes next week if Ashley drops that bombshell on her arrival. Hey, drop your comments about what you are excited to see in this last week of Sweeps on Young and the Restless. Please click subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely come back soon. We're here talking Y&R 7 days a week, and as always, I am Belinda from Soap Dirt. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.